Okay. Mine's my hair, but I have so little of it that
No, he doesn't look good. Nice hair.
yeah.
This afternoon's going to be sunny and very hot with a high of 116. A mainly clear night tonight, low 90. Another hot one Thursday with sunshine, the high 116. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 88. Sunny and hot Friday with a high of 110. Sunny and hot for the weekend. For the KFNX Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jim Renal.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 112 degrees.
So welcome back, everyone. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. My next guest has been on with me for 5 years in November. I have with me Anna Von Straussenburg. She's the owner of Anna Von Straussenburg CPA. Welcome back to the show. We always have to start with a little bit about you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what big things we're going to talk about today.
Okay. Hi, Carol. Well, I'm glad to be back on the show again.
Thank you.
So thank you for having me.
And talk a little bit about you and what makes you different, and then we'll go into what we want to talk about.
Well, you know, I have a tagline, and actually one of my employees came up with it because she says, well, you are all about excellence and integrity in accounting. She said, that's what, we should put out there because, when we did our website, they said, well, we really need a tagline. And she just looked at me and she said, well, you are all about being ethical. So, and part of being ethical is also to be very, very excellent and really try to not make mistakes. I mean, we're human, we make mistakes, but you know what? I stand by my work, and if I make a mistake, I will cover any penalties that occur because of it. But a lot of times, a client will get a notice and I'm like thinking, oh dear, what did we do wrong? And then I've come to find out that the client says, oh, well, I didn't think that was taxable, so I didn't tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
So things happen like that. I mean, it just happens. Or I had somebody came in, thought that he owed some more money, and actually he hadn't told me he'd made an extension payment, so he actually paid extra. And I said, well, this is a good news notice. You're getting more money back.
So sometimes it's good, but she is
Yeah.
all about excellence and integrity in accounting.
Yeah, and I tried to take lots of courses, and by the way, I have a plan for today because last month we advertised that I was gonna be coming here to talk about the one big beautiful bill. That's not the official name, by the way, but that's probably what it's gonna be called forever. They give it some kind of number. Anyway, and I don't think as of the last time I took a course that they even had that all finalized, but it's forever gonna be known as that.
It's a cute name for
Yeah,
a big thing.
yeah. Anyway, so there are a lot of things that are on with that bill. The first one is they try to keep the tax relief going for middle class families, so that what that means is that the tax provisions that they put into law during Trump's last term, which was in 2018, they've been extended indefinitely. They say they make it quote unquote permanent by not putting an ending date. Of course, anything that they make permanent in quotes here is, dependent on what the next Congress will do. You never know. They make it as permanent as they can. But they've taken away all the things that were supposed to sunset January 1, 2026. Most of those things, if not all of them, have now been there's no date where it's going to end. So that's a good thing for middle class people. The other thing is that they've increased the standard deduction, and I'm gonna have to look at my cheat sheet because I have not memorized these yet, but it used to be that $24,000 was for married couples filing joint. Now it's $31,500. Head of household has gone up to $23,625, and for single individuals, it's $15,750. So a lot of numbers here.
Yeah, a lot of big numbers. But they're good numbers.
These are good numbers,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, these are good numbers, and these numbers I kind of like because it's kind of built into the software, so but it's, you know, a good thing to know it, because a lot of people now are, you know, are not ending up itemizing. They did get rid of permanently the 2% miscellaneous itemized deductions, where, you know, a lot of people who had employee business expenses would take deductions there. But I think one of the reasons Congress took it away is it was a place where there was a lot of abuse, so they took that away. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, for a few bad apples, they penalized everybody, because there are certain people in certain industries. I have a client that's a mechanic, and he has to buy his own tools, and he always had to buy his own tools, but he was able to deduct them on his tax return. He can't deduct it anymore. If real estate agents are employed as an employee, they would deduct their mileage on their tax returns, because the brokers don't usually reimburse them for it. Most of my real estate clients have now become independent contractors, so they can now report it on their Schedule C and take the deductions that way. But, so there's all sorts, there's the good and the bad, and sometimes the ugly, yes, some of this stuff is really confusing.
Yeah, I wanna ask for people, I'm a business owner, business owners look to have those deductions, to, you know, get whatever they can. Can we write anything off?
Oh yeah, business owners can
Yeah.
write things off,
Okay.
on your tax returns, on your Schedule C, so any ordinary businesses, you can still take, your home office as a deduction for people who have, you know, a dedicated space in their home to
Right.
take the business use of home deduction. So there are still the business ones, and actually, the, qualified business deduction, has actually been made, even easier to get, because, you know, you couldn't take that QBI, qualified business income deduction, if you made over a certain amount, and I think it started phasing out at around $50,000, so now they've made it phase out at a higher rate. I think it starts at 75 to 150,000, and so you've got a little bit more leeway to take an extra deduction if you have a small business.
Here's the deal, before you came on, this is one of the things that you said, excuse me, you said, Carol, if I'm having a little trouble learning all of this stuff right now, and there's a lot to learn, right? A lot of people out there, you do try and do these things on your own, do not do that. Do not do that. This is very important, especially coming up for the new year, right?
Right, that is very important, and yeah, you can use, you know, TurboTax or whatever the, you know, ones you can buy it and do it yourself, but, you know, you can't always rely on the tax software. You really need to know what is going on behind the scenes, because, you know, even the most expensive tax software that I buy the real Cadillac plan, there's sometimes little glitches in it, or just the way you input something. And so I have to, you know, take a look at the return and make sure that all the numbers make sense. And there are times that, well, you know, this input looked like it should be here, but that's not the right place. And I'll call the company and say, hey, is this the right place to put it? And they say, oh, no, you need to put it over on another screen. Well, I have seen that with taxpayers who have done their own on TurboTax. And unfortunately, the way TurboTax asks questions, sometimes it can be confusing. And I knew, I had a friend who is an accountant, but not a tax preparer. She tried to do her own tax return on TurboTax and had ended up inputting the same information in 2 different places and doubling up on some income that she was being taxed on. And then on the flip side, she missed another deduction that she should have taken. So, you know, here's somebody who's smart and does accounting, still couldn't do it on her own.
And I have a daughter who is a teacher who thought that, you know, this is easy, I'll just do it on TurboTax, and guess what? She was so looking forward to get that return, right? She had looking forward to it. She got a giant piece of mail in the mail, and a parcel, and guess what? There was a mistake she made. Now she'll be able to fix that, but now she doesn't get her return right away, and now she's bummed out about that. So don't do it on your own. And I tell everyone, please, Do not do these things on your own. Call somebody. Anna is fantastic. What's great about Anna too is that you become her family. When she takes you on as a client, you're with her for life, and she loves you and wants to make sure that everything is done correctly. That's the way you do things.
Oh, yeah.
All about excellence and integrity in accounting. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk further. Let me give out her information because I haven't done it. I usually do it so much more. First of all, her phone number is 480-964-4030, which is 480-964-4030. She does free consultations. She works nationwide. She's rated with the Better Business Bureau. She does free consultations. You can check her out on her website. It's Arizona CPAs with an S.com. She also does second opinions, and right now today we're talking about that big beautiful bill and taxes and why for sure this year coming up, everybody, do not do this on your own because it's complicated, and you love complicated.
I do. I'm really actually enjoying, I was really excited to take this course. It started early in the morning, but I got up and signed in. Luckily it was a webinar, so I didn't have to drive anywhere,
But she's learned all about it, and that is what makes Anna different. Here she is, she's already helping everybody understand what she's learned. Again, that phone number is 480-964-4030. That's 480-964-4030. It's Arizona CPAs with an S.com.
Did that right on the money.
We're right in here.
Yeah. It's funny. That's funny. I'm so meticulous. I watch the seconds go by. And,
Yes,
know,
you do.
Oh, I love to watch when the guy on the other side of the glass does the countdown because I'm like, see, is Carol gonna make it right on time?
I try.
Yeah. Anyway.
So with this big beautiful bill, and people just are not gonna understand, and most people a lot of people are gonna go, the ones that go to already been with TurboTax or any of those, they're gonna do it automatically, and there's gonna be a lot of mistakes.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of misunderstanding already. When we get back on air,
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about the senior deduction.
Okay.
Because a lot of people think no seniors are going to be paying tax on Social Security, but that isn't necessarily true.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean,
Social Security.
yeah.
I still haven't
Dovetails in
taken
with
mine.
our Medicare thing. Medicare and Social Security together today.
Yeah, but in a sense, they kind of all go together anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the senior thing. I haven't taken mine yet. I don't know, maybe I should, I don't know. Everybody's up in the air. Who knows what to do, what's right.
Oh, you haven't taken your your Social Security yet?
Mm-mm.
Good for you. I mean, that's the more you wait, the better off you're gonna be. You know,
Well,
as long as you think you have a decent chance of longevity, you know.
But maybe next year,
Yeah.
I'll be 68 then.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're just barely where you would be taking it anyway, so.
I think so, but
Yeah.
I don't know so.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah, I know my age, the start of my being able to take it is at 67, but I'm definitely gonna try to wait, so.
Well, I mean, it's a whole
Because
thing.
I'm probably gonna be working till I'm 70, so I might as well wait on the Social
I'm
Security.
thinking I'm working for the rest of my life,
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll probably do like Jack did and stay in. He was in it till he was 78.
Yeah, some people can. I don't know if I'll be able to.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Anna Von Straussenburg. She's the owner of Anna Von Straussenburg CPA. And we've been talking a little bit about the big, beautiful bill and taxes. And you wanted to talk a little bit about seniors.
Yes, and it seems like today we had a Medicare gal come on and talk about that and about remodeling bathrooms and
For seniors.
For seniors, oh boy, it's like a senior day today. Well, there's a thing that went out And people are finding it confusing because they think, oh, there will be no tax on Social Security going forward. Well, what it is there's a special deduction that's going to offset any tax, it's an extra $6,000. But, you know, the letter that went out said that most people won't pay tax, but that's only for about 90% of the people. There's still going to be a percentage who make extra money. If you make over $75,000 individual or 150 married filing joint, and I'm having to actually check my cheat sheet to make sure I say this correctly. Well, when you get over the $75,000 for an individual, you start having to reduce it by 6% of your adjusted gross income. So if you make over 100,000, goodbye deduction.
Goodbye.
Yeah, and that's pretty easy math to do. 6% of 1,000 is, anyway. So 6% of 100,000 is $6,000. So that's what I meant to say. Anyway, so when people get over 150,000 and they're married, well, boom, instantly that's gone. So that was one of the things. This does apply to people after 2024. So, but you have to be seniors over 65 to be able to take this deduction. So.
But again, how do you know? How are you gonna know? You don't know, especially you're not gonna learn all of this. How are they gonna figure that out?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, it is temporary. It only lasts till 2029. So, actually to the end of 2028. This is a temporary deduction. Then that will go away. So, they giveth and they taketh away. That's the thing with the government tax laws. There's always some gotchas in there. Things where they give you temporarily and you think it's a good thing, but then it goes away. And, it's on us, as CPAs, we are required in the state of Arizona to take 80 hours every 2 years. So that means, 40 hours a year of continuing education. And I find that I actually end up taking more than that, probably about 60 hours a year, because there is always so much to learn about the tax law. And I'm trying to learn this stuff, but it's not easy.
And especially if they have some that last a certain amount of time, some that don't.
And some rules start now, some rules start in the future. There's always all kinds of things with that, so.
Why did they make it so hard?
Oh, I don't know why they make it so hard, but a lot of it, I think it goes to, different congressmen that have their, that are part of the committees that decide on this thing. Everybody has their own personal agendas, and unfortunately, tax law is part about furthering people's agendas. So that's like kind of one of the funny things that they do there. Now, another thing that's good for individuals who have children, they've increased the child tax credit up to $2,200, so that's a good thing. And we talked about the QBI. Oh, and then there are some things for the really wealthy people. They had increased.
Well, of course.
They had increased up the how much you can let's say, give to your heirs in your estate without paying tax. So now the estate tax, estate taxes, they're not, unless they're over $15 million. That's a big number. I'm having trouble spitting that out. Unless they're over $15 million, then there's no estate tax due. And it makes sense. It's funny, $1 million isn't what it used to be.
No.
And
neither is $1.
And even used to be, like back when I started in accounting, this estate tax limit was $1 million. Under $1 million, you didn't have to pay estate tax. And then they kept raising it and raising it and raising it. And then a few years ago, they passed one, and I think it went to 10 million, but then it was adjusted for inflation, and it went up to 13 million, so now it's 15 million. But those people that have that, they've already paid tax on that money, when they earned it. And they paid tax on the interest and dividends and, and so it's kind of only fair, I'm glad that, when my parents passed away, it was, they had raised it up, so it was over, I think at the point when they passed, it was $3 million, so it wasn't an issue, they didn't have that much. So, but even people that had a lot of money, a lot of times, they plan for doing really good things with their money, like give to charity and stuff like that. And so if they're being taxed on it as part of the estate, well, that reduces the amount that they can help other people with. So that one, I'm kind of all for that. I know some people say, well, the rich keep getting richer, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I think if they work for it, they should be able to direct how that money is spent after their death.
Well, I'll tell you something, when it comes down to money, and taxes, the first thing is that we're all gonna have to pay taxes, no
Yeah.
matter what, how much money, obviously,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it sounds like it's gonna be pretty complicated in coming down the pike. So please make sure that you speak to somebody and not do it on your own. I mean, look at Anna. Anna, you have already done at least 4 hours with this one and more, I'm sure.
Yep, I did,
Yeah.
yep. And I studied the written material, which, by the way, I printed it 2-sided because the course material for the course I took was 118 pages, and I thought, well, I better print that 2-sided so I'm not wasting paper, so.
Well, and there's so much to learn, and when it comes down to it, you wanna make sure that you're going to a CPA who can help you. And I've said this many, many times, and we were never talking about the big, beautiful bill at the time, is that it doesn't matter. You have a small business, if you're a solopreneur, Anna will help everybody. A lot of people think when you've got the CPA behind you that you've gotta have a big business in order to do that.
Yeah, I actually like working with some startup businesses or ones that, are just getting going. I love to tell a story about one of my clients. His first few years in business, he was just constantly losing money. We discovered that one part of their problem was that they hadn't inputted some of their inventory correctly, and we got them turned around and resolved their inventory issue. And then once he started being able to see his numbers, he was able to decide where to expand his business. And he went from losing money every year to making over $1 million, netting over $1 million a year. So when he decided to retire, he was able to sell his company for $12 million.
And I bet you he loved you very much.
Yes, he was one of my best clients, but since he didn't have a business anymore, he decided to, his financial advisor also did taxes, so unfortunately I lost him to the financial
Well, that's
advisor.
okay.
But
I mean,
that's
but
okay,
you
his
helped
taxes
him
would have
grow-
been smaller anyway.
But the thing is that you helped him grow that business, and that is
Yeah.
what you do, and that's awesome. You take on these people as if they're family, and you help them hand in hand. You are not somebody that you just bring your taxes to, and then when the tax season, you talk to them, and then that's it. That's not Anna. Go ahead.
No, and I do the free consultation, and one of the reasons I do it for free, because I actually spend a little bit of time just chatting it up and getting to know my clients, because the more I know them, the better questions I can ask. I just met a new couple and has a different scenario where he's a teacher and he's working in one state and she's working here, and they needed help, deciding how to do the taxes, with the multi-state thing, and they were doing married filing separate, and they realized that they were paying too much in tax doing it that way, and I was able to advise them, because I'm really good at multi-state returns.
And she's really good at complicated returns.
Yeah, and so that was nice, and, one of the things I got to know about them is that they don't have children and they don't intend on having children, and so that, that tells me something about them and where to ask, and that's an important thing. Surprisingly, sometimes people will forget to tell me about their kids. But eventually I find it out.
Well, that's because she asks a lot of
Yeah.
questions, and what she does is she actually becomes, you become one of her family, and she does second opinions, she does free consultations, she's rated with the Better Business Bureau, she works nationwide, and she wants to help you not only grow your business, but do your taxes expenses for you so that you can get as much of a return as possible and to have them done correctly. She's all about excellence and integrity in accounting. Call her at 480-964-4030. That's 480-964-4030. Check her out on her website. It's ArizonaCPAs with an S.com.
Oh, it's good.
I like that one.
And I didn't even get to all my materials, so I have extra material left for next time.
And you're on as a